Hey, everyone. It's the conference semifinals. We're all excited. We're going to have real analysis today because none of our four teams made it. We're all out. So it's all about being a fan of the NBA. This is Pass the Rod.
Could one of y'all pass the gosh darn rock?
Hey, yo, I'm trying, I ain't lying, and hosting this will be Brian.
Yeah.
Posting like Kobe Bryant,
Yeah.
flying to see the pie.
Yeah.
Hit the hezzy, we got Jesse, opinions get kinda messy. A fan of out of lefties, from football to racing jackies. He goes silly when he go deep, sheesh, is Zach Zeman. Teaming up with Jack, we stack the whole team, man. Pass the rock, don't stop the shot clock.
Woo.
Smack the slap shot, come on, now let's talk. Pass the, yo, partner, pass the rock. For real.
Yeah, so we're all out of it. I'm most excited that Jack's team has been eliminated because I can't stand the Lakers. But the Maple Leafs aren't in it. The Flyers aren't in it. I mean, if New Orleans had a hockey team, it'd be equal to what your hockey teams are doing. What's going on, guys?
Brian,
Yeah.
I'm just happy because that means that all the analysis I've given on the NBA for the last 3 months has been great and all strictly observational because my team's been out of it since November. So, I appreciate that. Thank you very much.
Exactly. I think y'all were in it until mid-December, but yeah, it's been rough. But I do think we have four very interesting series. I'd like to go through each of those and hear a little bit from everybody. What's your prediction? What do you want to happen that might be different than your prediction? I know I'm having a tough time thinking about who I want to win between the Thunder and the Mavs because I am not a fan of either of those teams, but we'll get to that. Let's start with the only series that's already started, Wolves at the Nuggets tonight. Game one happened and Ant happened all over the Denver court. So going to you, Jack, what do you think about tonight? We got Rudy Gobert is going to be out for the birth of a child, which is a huge game two storyline.
Yeah, that's definitely a massive storyline. And I mean, imagine it's brutal enough to have to guard Jokic at the best of times. Now you're without your three-time defensive player of the year, potential future Hall of Famer. That could lock him down, and that job just gets so much harder, especially with Cat being a bit of a defensive liability down low sometimes. So, tonight I think I would be a little bit concerned for the Timberwolves. I don't think they win this game in Denver. But as for the series overall, I mean, as soon as Rudy Gobert gets back, and he will be back for Game 3, this team looked really good in Game 1. Not that it was a blowout or anything, but I was just so impressed by Anthony Edwards in that game. His X factor, his ability to take over. And that is something that with a guy with that level of talent, when he's got that it factor, that is dangerous. I mean, that is like that's a Michael Jordan type ability. So, you got to be really impressed with that for the Timberwolves. So I think, honestly, for the series overall, I think the Timberwolves are going to win in 6 or 7. I really do. I think they looked really impressive in that game. I don't think they win Game 2. I think without Gobert, they're going to struggle. But as soon as they get him back on the floor, that team looked really good in Game 1. I think they're going to win the series.
All right, a Timberwolves vote. Jesse, over to you.
I also have Timberwolves in 7. I think that it's going to take 7 games and it's going to be a war, like Anthony Edwards said, but I think they get it done. And Rudy Gobert missing a game is huge, but it's not to injury. It's not to illness. It's to the birth of a child, which, he'll be right back on the court as pristine condition as possible for Game 3. Back at home, Game 3 and 4, that'll be 2 big games for them. If they can win both, they're up 3-1, and that's a pretty good chokehold on the defending champs. So I think it's going to take a while. The Nuggets are not going to go down without a fight. They probably win tonight, and Wolves in 7.
All right, Zach, you got any sense in your head, or are you with them?
Yeah, I do have sense in my head. I'm not counting out the defending champ so easily. I know the Wolves, they're missing Rudy Gobert tonight, so they're probably going to lose. I mean, let's also not forget that they do have Jaden McDaniels, so of course they have all the shot in the world. But at the end of the day, we're talking about the defending NBA champions here. They know how to come up in clutch time. I think down the stretch of the series, they will show why they are the defending champs. Jokic, Murray, MPJ, I expect them all to show out along with Aaron Gordon, filling in when needed. This team has the championship DNA. The Wolves are not there yet. I think the Wolves will certainly be back here, but this year is not their year. I'm going Nuggets in 7.
Brian, I just want to say real quick, less Rudy Gobert means more Naz Reid, okay? We're going to get 35 Naz Reid minutes tonight. So they could win this game outright and go up 2-0. I'm just saying, Naz Reid, 30-plus minutes a game. They don't lose very often when that happens.
And look, don't get me wrong. I think this is the Western Conference Finals right here. I think whatever happens in the other series, the winner of this series ends up going to the NBA Finals. I think it's huge. I think Denver will be very lucky to win in 7, but I am predicting that. I just think, they had a pretty good game the other day too, and it was probably the best game of the weekend. And I just think ultimately, though, that championship pedigree, Minnesota's still on the way up. If you remember all the good teams, all the good players, LeBron, Michael, Kobe, whatever, had to like fight their way into that upper echelon. And then once they were there, they were hard to get rid of. I think the same is happening for Ant. I think he's going to have to fight. I think it's going to be close. And I think he's going to lose this series. I would not tell him this to his face, but I think tonight they lose for sure with Gobert out, and then who knows what happens in Minnesota. But I just think Denver having game 7 at home is going to be crucial, and I think they win it in 7. So, other side of the bracket on the West, who wins? Thunder, Mavericks. Going to you, Jesse.
Ooh, okay. Thunder, Mavericks. I'm taking the Mavericks in this one. Kyrie Irving and Luka Doncic are playing like the best duo in the NBA right now. Daniel Gafford playing great. PJ Washington playing great. Derek Jones, Dante Exum. This Mavericks team has incredible chemistry. They're playing really, really well defensively. They completely shut down the Clippers, to close out that series. And offensively, they've just been a machine. So I'm taking the Mavericks in 6 games. I think that they're going to win. It's not going to go 7. The Thunder look good, and I think that they're going to win at home at least twice. But I think other than that, the Mavericks are going to really take control and take this in 6 games. Luka Doncic, I think he's coming for that Western Conference Finals MVP, whatever, participation trophy award you want to call it. But the Mavericks have looked so good. Kyrie Irving, he had like 30 points in the second half the other night to close out the Clippers. So great series by them. I'm really excited for this one. Mavs all the way.
All right, Zach.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like I could go either way on this one, but I'm going to say that the Thunder end up edging them out. I feel like the Thunder are going to close it out 6 or 7 games total. I really like what I've seen so far from Shea and Chet in the playoffs so far, and I think they're going to keep the momentum rolling. Yes, stopping Luka and Kyrie is damn near impossible, but I feel like whenever I look at the rest of the roster, I'm just a little bit underwhelmed, and I think the Thunder have a real opportunity to make the Western Conference Finals. Give me the Thunder in 7 games.
All right, so split decision so far. Over to you, Jack.
I think I would take the Mavs in 7, and it's nothing against the Thunder. I thought they were very impressive in the first round, but you also have to take into account they were very impressive against the Zion-less Pelicans team. So it's not like it was the most impressive series win in the world. But the Mavs, they had to scratch and claw their way past the Clippers. They looked really good to close out that series. And I've just been so impressed this year with the way they've been able to figure out the Luka-Kyrie dynamic. That was such a concern coming into the year, and they've really quashed all those worries. They've both had phenomenal seasons. They work really well together. It's a well-coached group. And I think they're going to win this series. It's going to be a close one. I think it goes at minimum 6 games, so I'm going to say Mavericks in 7.
Okay. I'm going OKC, so we're going to split again in a different way here. And it's because of a player no one's named yet, and his name is Lou Dort. He was awesome against Brendan.
Yeah, for sure he was awesome.
And I watched it live twice and on TV the other 2 times.
Brandon Ingram in jail.
It was so impressive to the point where sometimes when your team is in a series and that happens, you really hate the other guy. I didn't have any hate for Lou Dort. I do not like Shea or Chet because of that stupid commercial where they sing to me. Okay, so put that aside.
That's valid.
But Lou Dort was awesome, and I don't know who they give him. If I'm the Thunder, I might think about having him guard Kyrie as opposed to Luka, just because I think he's got a better chance of a total shutdown there than I think he does against Luka. But either way, maybe they'll switch him up. Who knows what they're going to do? But I think he is the key to that series, and I think OKC wins in 7. And look, if we get 2 7-game series in the West, I mean, that's essentially what we thought was going to happen all year, with the West being so deep. And I think we got probably the 4 best teams here. So, so I'm picking OKC. I think it's OKC against Denver in the next round. Now, quick question: who am I rooting for? I can't root for Luka, right? I can't root for OKC because of that commercial. So I'm at really a big crossroads here. But I think I'm leaning Mavericks. I think Shea and Chet put such a bad taste in my mouth that I think I have to root Mavericks.
Even
I
worse
just
than
wanted to
Luka.
come clean and report that to you all. I still don't think he's going to the NBA Finals, which is a
There you
separate
go.
prediction. But
Wait, before
All right.
we move on, I just want to give
Yeah.
some season results, by the way. When the Thunder and Mavs, they played 4 times this year. The Thunder won 3 of those games. Most recently, the Thunder won by 49 in the last time they played, but Luka and Kyrie didn't play. It was like April 14th. It was at the end of the season. Previously, Thunder won by 7. Luka did not play. Thunder won by 6. Kyrie did not play. And then in the other game, everyone on both teams played. The Mavericks won by 35.
Wow.
So
wow.
Whoa.
both the games, the Thunder won by 6 or 7 points. They had neither Luka or Kyrie in each of them. And the one game where everyone was healthy, Mavs by 35. So
Yeah. Well,
just
you could
some
say
food for
though,
thought, you know.
Suns T-Wolves, what happened in the regular season was totally different than what happened in the playoffs. So we'll see.
Yeah.
I'd say that about half the matchups we had in the first round, honestly. So
Yeah, I mean the
yeah.
teams are different than they were at the start of the year for sure, but just interesting that the last time they played the Thunder by 49 points 3 weeks ago.
Yeah, that's wild. All right, who wins? Knicks Pacers. Starting with you, Zach.
So in my head, the Knicks should win this. They really should win this. But the only thing that has me a little hesitant to pick them is that these teams are on the complete opposite when it comes to pace of play. And while maybe that doesn't really matter, if the Pacers can get control and play the fast style of basketball they like to play, then the Knicks, if they're not able to keep up, they can drop multiple games just because of that. Although I'm still going with the Knicks, I think they should be able to handle the Pacers. Give me the Knicks in 6.
Knicks in 6. Jack.
I could.
By the way, really quickly, great use of rhyming. Knicks in 6. Go.
I might be taking your argument and turning it on his head. You're right about the pace of play differences between the two teams, but the Knicks have been masterful all year long at getting teams to play at their level, slowing down the pace. And if you ask the Pacers to play a slow pace, that could be a disaster of a game for them and a disaster of a series. I honestly think the Knicks are going to run right through them. I wouldn't be surprised if this is a sweep, but I'm going to say Knicks in 5 to be safe. But I'm putting it out there. I wouldn't be shocked if it was a sweep.
All right, Jesse. Any different thoughts other than the Knicks?
So my brain says Knicks in 6 because it's the easy, conservative, safe pick. Take the favorite 6 games. However, there is a part of me that fears that the Knicks playing like 6 guys deep, 48 minutes a night for Josh Hart, Jalen Brunson, and that 76er series beat up the Knicks a lot. Like that went longer than it should have. The games were very gritty and very tough games. Embiid putting his body to the Knicks that entire series. So they're a little banged up, and they're one Jalen Brunson tweaked ankle away from the Pacers winning this in 6 or 7 games. So I think that overall the Knicks should win it, but given how Tibbs runs the team with all of his main guys playing 45 plus minutes a night, like it wears on you. And it might be the second round, and it might not show now, but it might show in the conference finals, and it might show in the NBA finals at some point that running 6 guys 45 plus minutes a night might catch up to you at some point. So the Knicks have battled injury all year. I think the Knicks should win it, but obviously any team is one injury away from losing a series. But I just think that the way that the Knicks run the team, they're not as deep as the Pacers. And it could really hurt them if DiVincenzo or OG or Hart or any of those guys, plays too many minutes and gets the mileage too high. So should be the Knicks, but you never know.
Are you picking a number of games?
Knicks in 6.
Knicks in 6, staying with it. So we're going to have a sweep. I think the Knicks are going to win in 4 or 5, just like Jack said. I just think the Pacers, they did a great job to win a playoff series. By the end of that series, they were playing against no one, at least none of the superstars, and they ended up losing a game in there. So great story, great team on the rise in the East, but I don't think it shows here. The Knicks are already there, and Brunson's going to make sure that this thing happens. I agree with you, Jesse, on your take on what Tibbs is doing. And 6 is a real thin, roster that you're running with through the playoffs. But he's just got guys like Josh Hart, who I love, who's just going to do whatever he needs to do to help this team win, do the things that, they might miss from those other guys not playing as much. And I like them in 4 or 5. I'll say 5 to be safe because I do think the Pacers get 1, but Knicks pretty handily. Who do you think the best Knicks player on this roster is other than Brunson?
Ooh.
We'll start with you, Zach. Oh, sorry.
Oh, Zach can go.
That's
You know who I'm going to say.
tough. That's tough, but I'm going to go with OG Anunoby. He really impressed me with his defensive presence later on in the 76ers series. I think, I feel like, with the Knicks, and especially with Coach Thibodeau, his coaching style, he prioritizes players who can get it done on defense a lot. Defense means so much to his coaching system. And OG Anunoby's really filled in and stepped up in that role, especially in the last couple of games of that Sixers series. So maybe not the best scorer, maybe not the best on offense, but defensively, he's really stepped up, and I'm very impressed by him.
All right, Jack.
I like that pick. That's probably the right pick, but I'm going to go with Josh Hart, man. I love Josh Hart so much. That dude is the definition of a dog. He does every little thing that you want for your basketball team. He's a gritty defender. He's an unbelievable rebounder for his size, and especially on as far as offensive rebounds. He's a good scorer, not the best scorer in the world, but good enough. And he's super clutch. He shows up when you need him to. So to me, that's the ideal guy to have on a playoff roster. And yeah, sure, maybe if we're talking regular season, I would take OG. But in the playoffs, I mean, I don't think there's 5 guys in the playoffs right now that you would want as a role player above Josh Hart.
Jess?
Yeah, I mean, Zach hit it on the head. OG Anunoby might be the most underrated player of all time. And, that might be an understatement. So the fact that it took him going to New York to finally get some recognition from anybody is kind of hurtful because we always knew how good OG was in Toronto. And OG Anunoby is the product of what guarding LeBron for 4 straight years in the playoffs does to a person. He learned from the best. He learned from Kawhi on how to defend, and he was really his mentor in Toronto. But also, OG is the guy who guards the best player on the court. No matter what, if it's Giannis, he was a big reason that they shut down Giannis in the playoffs. LeBron trying to control him as much as possible. A lot of really good forwards in the East that he's had to deal with in his career. So he's great. But aside from OG, Dante DiVincenzo has been phenomenal this year. And he's been actually one of the best 2 guards in the NBA all season. I mean, he averaged 15, 16 points a game, 40% from 3. And he's been great on defense. He played all 48 minutes of the closeout game against Philadelphia. I mean, he was peak Tom Thibodeau action right there, but he's been really great on the defensive end. He's been a great shooter. He hit very clutch shots in that Sixers series. Really been, a big presence on offense, especially with Randall out. So I think, the Knicks have probably 3 of the best role players in the NBA with Hart, DiVincenzo, and OG, all of them kind of in a similar league, but I would say OG is probably the best. But shout out to Dante. He's been really, really good since he, left Milwaukee and found his new home.
Yeah, I think DiVincenzo, he had an early the last series, he had a good start and then kind of tapered off towards the end, and they're going to need him. Obviously, Anunoby is a great pick as well, but it's Josh Hart, not because of all the little things he does. It's because he got NYK in his braids and his hair. He's just, the dude is all about the city he's in. I mean, when he was in New Orleans, I thought he was going to move here forever and just never leave. And of course, we had to trade him when we got CJ. But he is all about the city he's in, what he's doing with the Knicks, and I think he's a serious X factor for them. And he's the best player other than Brunson.
Thank God he got out of Portland. Right? That was a really bad situation.
Yeah.
See ya.
Yeah. All right. Celtics, Cavs. Do the Cavs even have a shot?
I mean, if I'm being honest, not really. I think the Celtics are going to wipe the floor with them. The Celtics have been the best team in the NBA this year, and the Cavs struggled with the Magic. And that's not a shot at the Magic. I think the Magic are a really good team. But if the Celtics The Cavs were struggling with the Magic. There's no way they win more than one game max against the Celtics. And the reason I say more than one game max is because the Celtics managed to drop one to the Heat out of nowhere. So I wouldn't be surprised if they managed to drop one to the Cavs in a similar vein. But other than that one game, the series wasn't that competitive against Miami, and I don't think it's going to be that competitive against Cleveland. I'm going to go Celtics in 5. Also, wouldn't be surprised if it was a sweep.
Uh-huh. Yeah, in my mind, of course, I'm going to be cheering for the Cavs all series long because I hate the Celtics with a burning passion. But the only thing in my mind at this point is if the Celtics somehow don't win this series, should Joe Mazzulla just be fired outright? Because it would be insane for the Celtics at the level that they've been playing at all season long to lose to a team like the Cavaliers. Like, that's my only hypothetical I'm thinking of. Otherwise, of like Celtics in 5 at most. Like, it really shouldn't be that complicated. I think the Celtics steamroll the Cavaliers. But if they somehow lose this series in 7 games, maybe Joe Mazzulla should be fired, because there's no way that this happens again where Mazzulla, for all the hype that he's gotten, for all the recognition he's gotten as being one of the top coaches in the NBA leading this Celtics team, can't get past, can't lead this team deep into the playoffs. I mean, it's just ridiculous. And it was embarrassing for the Celtics last year. It would be even more embarrassing this year. So that's the only thing I really have for the Celtics on their downfall, which is not going to happen. Celtics in 5.
Yeah, if they lose in 7, they're also losing at home in a game 7 for the second year in a row. And that would be pretty terrible. Jesse.
Man, this Cavs team is just so unimpressive in the playoffs. I mean, they scored over 100 points twice in the first round. I mean, and they won 2 of the games that they scored under 100 points. But to score under 100 5 times in a 7-game series and come out of that with a win, like, you can't feel good about that at all as the Cavs could. But I think this is absolutely a sweep. I think that now the Celtics, after dropping that 1 game to the Heat, I think that they locked in. And I think that now the Cavs, I mean, the fact that it took them that long to put down the Magic was kind of embarrassing. Jared Allen is out, which is huge for them as well. Darius Garland kind of looked like a nobody on the court for most of that series. Karis LeVert's like your second leading scorer. Isaac Okoro was a non-factor. Evan Mobley looked great on defense. That's about it. The rest of the Cavs, I mean, there's not much to look for there. Max Strus hits a big shot once in a while. That's about it for the Cavs. So I think that this is Celtics in 4 very easily. I think that they're locked in. Derek White probably going to average 30 points a game in the series. And maybe we finally see Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum wake up a little bit and get ready for the Eastern Conference Final. But Celtics in 4.
Yeah, I think it's easily Celtics in 4. I think it would take a Donovan Mitchell 55-point crazy outing for the Cavs to even sniff one victory.
He might need 70. He might actually need 70 out of their 100 points.
He'd have to break the playoff record.
I can legit see Donovan Mitchell going for 50, though. I can see it.
Yeah, so maybe
he's already done it once in a loss.
Yeah. No, he'll do it. He'll do it this series.
If he does it, he'll have to average 50 for them to have a chance to do what Zach wants them to do, which is win in Game 7. This team did not look good against the Magic. It was looking really bad yesterday, and then they had a Donovan Mitchell second half of the second quarter through the first half of the third quarter where he couldn't be stopped. So now this is an easy one. This is a sweep for me. Here's my question. If the Cavs get swept, do they blow it up this season? Last season, they had the 4 seed, had the disappointing loss to the Knicks in the first round of the playoffs. And then this year, they beat the Magic, but then get swept. Do they blow it up? Do they have to make a major trade?
I think you have to trade Donovan Mitchell. And honestly, even if they somehow manage to win this game or win this series, which is not going to happen, but in a crazy world where they did, I would still think about trading Donovan Mitchell because he's as good as gone after next season. He's got 1 year left on his deal after this year. And I don't know what I would bet, but he's gone. He's leaving that team. There's no way he's re-signing in Cleveland. And if you're going to get any value from him, you've got to trade him now. I mean, trading him at the deadline next year, you're going to have to sell him for pennies on the dollar because he's not coming back. So to me, they have to trade him this offseason. almost regardless of what happens. But if they get swept, absolutely they have to trade Donovan Mitchell.
I don't know. I think if you're the Cavs, first order of business is you have to do every single thing that's in your power to try and extend him this summer. 4 year. He's up into a 4-year, $200 million extension this summer. You're not going to. A player like Donovan Mitchell does not come by a franchise very often. A guy who's that good and then even better in the playoffs. And I think that they have to throw everything that they can at him to get him to stay and trade the other guys. Trade Darius Garland before you get rid of Donovan Mitchell. See if you could trade Jared Allen and build around Evan Mobley or some of these other guys. I think Donovan Mitchell's the best player to ever play for Cleveland outside of LeBron and maybe Kyrie, like at that level. So like Kyrie never led the Cavs alone by himself. He never had really the chance to. And, you know, when LeBron came back, they were a lot better. But Donovan Mitchell can be the number one guy on a team for sure. And it's tough to see. And I think that no matter what, you have to keep him. Then if it's obviously not going to happen, if he says no to the extension, like Jack said, you ship him before his value depreciates any further.
How dare you disparage Mark Price, Craig Elo, and Brad Doherty from the 80s?
My bad.
I'm sorry, but Craig Elo is only the guy that got destroyed by Jordan.
Tell me when Craig Elo
Exactly.
drops 50 out of their 96 points in a playoff game.
No, that's why they lost to Jordan at the buzzer. No, I think you're onto something. I think the only way to keep him is to give him a second. I'm gonna use the term bona fide star. I don't really know
Get
what
Paul
that level
George.
might be. I can tell you that there's a lot of Cleveland writers and New Orleans writers talking about some sort of Brandon Ingram for Mobley, Garland, and or Jared
I'm
Allen.
sure the New
I'm
Orleans
sorry.
writers love that.
Yeah, there's no.
Not all
way
three.
around
Not all
it.
three. Calm down. Not all three. Two of those three guys for Brandon Ingram and a boatload of picks from the Pelicans
Even that's a little
what's
rich.
in conversation. So
Well,
I'm interested to see. I think they do need to pair him. And when I said using quotations for bona fide star, I don't know that Brandon Ingram is that anymore after getting shut down by Lou Dort, the Jedi. So you know, just throwing that out there as the only way to keep him any sort of long term, keeping Donovan Mitchell, I mean, is by finding someone else to pair him with so that all the pressure's not on him constantly.
yeah, my only thing with the potential Donovan Mitchell extension, with his potential trade, potential free agency, in a way, especially if the Cavs somehow make the 6-game series, if I'm the Cavs front office, I kind of look at this season as a success. I mean, you got further in the playoffs. If you're able to extend the series to 6 games, that is improvement. You're going against one of the top teams. Well, not one of the top teams in the NBA, the top team in the East, and you're able to play a 6-game competitive series. You're trying to keep the band together. You're trying to build around Donovan Mitchell and then work on an extension later on. I think this summer, if they're able to make this series competitive, they're going to do everything in their power to build around Donovan Mitchell, get him a true co-star, and see what they can do in the next year or two. So I don't think it's necessarily time for them to blow it up unless they get absolutely embarrassed and swept.
And that'll probably happen. So
It'll probably happen,
All right.
but I'm just talking hypotheticals because honestly,
sure.
that's what sports and that is what we do. That is what we do analyzing sports. It is all hypotheticals.
That is what we do. All right. Questions for the NBA. Okay. Which team has the worst offseason decision coming their way? Jack, start with you. Is it your Lakers?
No, it's not the Lakers. It's the Suns. 100% it's the Suns because they are in the definition of cap hell right now with those 3 mega deals on their roster. Something has got to change. There's no way that you can go forward with those 3 guys on your roster because you can't improve it. Like the new CBA makes it essentially impossible for them to improve that team. So you have to get rid of someone. But the thing is, you can't trade Devin Booker. He's your franchise. There's no way you can logically trade him. You don't want to trade KD because that's a future Hall of Famer, and you gave up so much to get him. You invested so much in having him. That feels really bad. And there's no way you can trade Bradley Beal because who in their right mind is taking on that contract? So they're stuck in this awful position where they need to make a move, but whatever move they make, it's either going to really hurt them to do it, or they're just stuck with these 3 mega deals and no way to improve their roster. So I think they're in a horrible spot, but there is a decision that has to be made. There's no way that you could sit on your hands and do nothing if you're in their position right now. So I don't know what the move that they're going to end up making is. I honestly think the most likely guy to go would be KD. I don't think I see no world where they trade Booker, and I don't think they're going to be able to trade Beal. So I think the odd man out is KD, as weird as it is to say, but something has to happen there. There's no way nothing does.
By the way, I just read Rudy Gobert is now questionable because the baby was born this morning. So there's a chance.
Ooh.
So you're telling me there's a chance.
I'm telling you there's a chance. All right, back to you, Jesse. Which team has the worst offseason decision coming their way?
I think it's the Clippers. I think that they have to finally decide, that this experiment has failed and that they have, a $1 billion stadium coming with a team that has pretty much no future assets at this point. So they have a lot of decisions to make regarding Paul George and Kawhi. Both of them, I think, are becoming free agents in the next season or two. I'm not sure exactly what their contracts are. I know Paul George is hitting the market this summer. I don't know what Kawhi's current situation is, but it's tough. I mean, 3 years in a row now, I think that Kawhi's got hurt in the playoffs and just not come back. And at a certain point, when do you keep doing the same thing and expecting different results? Like it's a tough spot for the Clippers to be in. They mortgaged all of those picks and their young players for these two, and it just never quite panned out. So they have no future at this point, and they have a lot of decisions to make, whether or not they want to still keep Paul George around and sell a lot of tickets and have a good competing basketball team, or try and kind of sell house and rebuild from the ground up, just like they did with their stadium.
All right, Zach?
Yeah, while I think you guys have like 1A and 1B kind of locked down, but I'm going to throw the Miami Heat into the mix here just because I feel like, the Miami Heat's philosophy has, you get a few stars and then you just put any kind of role player around them and Eric Spoelstra will figure them out. What happens when one of your stars is disgruntled and pretty much seems to want out of Miami? We get this offseason with Jimmy Butler, and I think there's a real chance that he gets traded, and then it becomes, who do you trade him to? Who are you getting back for him? What makes it worthwhile trading away Jimmy Butler? Can Bam Adebayo be a true number one on this team? I don't think he can personally, but hey, maybe we'll see this offseason. It just feels like there's a lot of tension going on in South Beach right now. I'm really interested to see where Jimmy Butler ends up. And to be fair, Butler has a history of kind of burning these bridges, especially, in Minnesota, he burnt those bridges. And then, after the offseason, really it was the Sixers who burnt those bridges, not Jimmy himself. But, we've seen this kind of stuff before. If Jimmy is disgruntled and he's still with the Heat going into next season, we might see some shenanigans that will really distract the Miami Heat. And, it just will not look good for anyone in that organization.
All right. So I agree that Clippers and Suns are probably number 2 and number 1 in this list. Just because you have these teams that have no assets to really move around with until they get rid of no draft assets. So I'm going to give you 3, what I'll call honorable mention, wild card, whatever you want to say. The first one is the Lakers, because you can't, if you lose LeBron, then you lost LeBron. You're probably going to have to lose AD, because why would he want to stay? But if you keep him, you have to listen to another one of his strategies to get this team somewhere, and none of them have really worked. So I think you're kind of in a catch-22, and you're trying to figure out which way to go. The other 2 honorable mention teams are the Thunder and the Pelicans, because you can only carry all the assets in the world around for so long. Eventually, you have to cash them in and do something with it. And it's obviously more imperative for New Orleans to do that, because they haven't shown the success that the Thunder at least have had this year. But I think the Thunder have some pressure, real pressure on them, especially if they don't get to the NBA Finals this year, to do something with all those picks. They have an unbelievable stable of characters that are on the court. Now they need to add 1 or 2 by getting rid of some of this draft capital and making a big move and getting a 5, getting some rebounding help, getting another star, whatever. But those are my 3 honorable mentions. I agree the Suns are number 1 because they are just in total shambles and have no assets, as we talked about last week. And the Clippers.
What do we think about
that
this comment
didn't work.
here? KD to OKC.
I honestly don't know.
Suns unload some picks. KD goes.
I'd love it. I'd love it. I would love it personally.
I honestly, one of my really good friends is a Thunder fan, and I don't think he would welcome KD back. The animosity.
They already burned all the
still
jerseys, or
carries
does
forward.
anybody still have them?
Huh?
Did he already burn his jersey? Or
Oh
did
yeah,
jerseys
none of them still exist. But I just
They'll make more.
I don't think. I think the Thunder fans would have a difficult time welcoming him back. Like he.
Not when they win a ring. I don't think that they'd have too hard of a time welcoming back.
I don't know.
30-point per game forward.
That stadium will still sell out. Like it won't be a problem.
Put him at the 4, move Chet to the 5. That's a.
I also
fun
just
lineup.
like I don't know that he fits. Like the Thunder have a really good thing going with Shea, with Chet, with J-Dub, with Lou Dort. Like these guys, they're all a similar age. They're a similar timeline.
Giddy.
They're all developing together, and throwing in a 36-year-old KD in that mix. I'm not.
But
sure
he doesn't
if
give
that
them they need the rebounding.
Nah, KD's
So-
young at heart though. He doesn't have a wife. He all he does is play basketball. You know, he's
I don't know. I don't think he's a cultural. I don't think he's a culture fit.
all right.
Either way, I do think they need to cash in some chips and find whoever that person is. I don't think you could put Chet at the 5. I mean, you know,
Yeah, it's true.
don't get me started, but JV was destroying him when he had the chance. He just didn't get the chance because his own coach didn't give him the chance to keep going at Holmgren. They need to do something to move him to the 4 and get a real 5.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. I just don't know what the move to make is. I don't know who the guy is, but I do agree they need to make a move.
Yeah. All right. So let's move on. Let's have a draft off. You know, it's been 36 minutes. We're running in here. We haven't drafted yet. We need to do that. It's a requirement every time. So draft off players in the conference semis. So we're going to start. We're going to each pick 4 players. You can decide how you want to, divvy out your positions. We go Jesse, me, Jack, and then Zach. So Jesse, you are up.
All right, I'm not gonna do the TikTok clip worthy thing. Give me Nikola Jokic. Jokic number 1. I'm not gonna overthink it. You know.
Yep. I was totally waiting for you to pick somebody else.
I was gonna go Ant
take it.
and be. Oh my God! No way you picked it. Give me Jokic. Even Anthony Edwards himself said that Jokic is the best player in the NBA. So.
And I think we're definitely going to see it tonight if Rudy's not there. But if Rudy is there, I think
Karl
we'll
Anthony
see it.
Towns is fouling out in 15 minutes. If that's
Right, right. All
Positive.
right. Well,
Brian.
thank you very much. I'm going to take Baby Jordan. Give me Ant. Dude's been unbelievable. Can just decide to take over a game and give you the solution you want. So, or maybe the solution you don't if you're on defense. But dude's been spectacular.
Yeah. All right. Well, those were the top 2 that I was definitely expecting. So I would say there's a slight drop off here, but it's not too big. Let me get Luka Doncic.
slight drop
He'll
off
survive.
to a guy averaging
survive with Luka.
35, 10, and 10. I feel like having the first pick here is actually a disadvantage, to be honest.
Yeah, I mean, here at the 4th pick, I've got a great 1-2 punch in back-to-back picks. First, give me Shea Gilgeous-Alexander, and then give me Kyrie Irving.
Solid.
All right.
All right. Do I go with another guard here? No. I'll take Jason Tatum.
Interesting.
Good. That's what I was going to do. And now I'm going to pivot and I'm going to take a guy that's going to score 60 if I need him and give me Donovan Mitchell.
Solid.
Oh, okay. I didn't think I was going to get this guy to fall back to me. I thought for sure he was going to go before. Give me the best player in the Eastern Conference. Give me Jalen Brunson.
Nice.
Wow. Snubbed. I thought Luka and Jalen was going to be together. I thought, Brian, all right, not complaining. And then, on the other side, give me Spicy P. Give me Pascal Siakam.
Yeah, I
He-
could have
he
bet
can
my
play
life
anywhere.
on that one.
Awesome. So it's back to me. I think I need some nuggets. So give me Murray. I'm gonna take that guaranteed shot maker. I know I have a lot of guards here, but it's not gonna matter. We're just gonna win 112-90.
All right.
All right. You know what? Let me just put Luka Doncic on the Celtics. I'll take Jaylen Brown.
I am. Ooh, I've got a lot of choices with a lot of different bigs, but I'm gonna go with the one. Like honestly, I got a weird thing where I don't really like Cat and I don't really like Gobert. So give me Chet Holmgren to round out this draft.
Solid.
Wait. You're taking
What are-
Chet over Rudy?
Well,
Yeah.
you have one more, don't
You
you?
have 2 more picks or one
No,
more
I
pick. Yeah.
thought we were doing 3.
No, we're doing
No,
4.
we're doing
No,
4. 4v4.
Oh, we're doing 4. Then I will gladly take Rudy Gobert.
You should have done that in the other
Wait, say
order.
it
I know.
again.
Doesn't
Say it
matter,
again for the
doesn't matter.
clip. Say it again for the
All right.
clip.
All right, all right. Well, going back here, I'm taking Chet Holmgren and Rudy Gobert, making this too easy.
Wow.
All right. That's unfortunate because I'm stuck with a big that I don't really want now. But I think the right move is taking Cat, so I'll take him.
All right. I'm glad you all did what you did. I'm glad all the big guys are gone. I have a small team anyway. This might be crazy. I should probably take
Take
Halliburton.
it big, Brian. Take it big.
I'm taking Lou Dort. I am just shutting down 1/4 of your team without even trying.
Jesse,
Wow.
take Josh Hart. Please take
The
Josh
dude
Hart.
was I mean,
Y'all
it might have just been
completely
that it was
sold
the
this. I can't
Pelicans.
believe I just get to win this for free. Give me Derek White. Come on now.
No,
Okay.
I had all the offensive guards I needed. We're gonna shut you down.
Easy. Oh my
Tyrese
God,
Halliburton not being drafted is crazy.
easy. Who needs
Yeah.
Tyrese Halliburton when you have Derek White?
That's wild.
I think
Lou
every
Dort
guard,
would have just
no,
killed
I don't
him
think so.
anyway.
Every single guard taken is better than Tyrese
and
Halliburton. on this
Drew
list.
Holiday? No Drew Holiday?
Every guard here is better than Tyrese Halliburton and Drew Holiday.
Okay.
Besides maybe Lou Dort, but he's the forward. But
Right. Right.
I don't
Josh
think
Hart
that
undrafted
is that
is
crazy.
Josh Hart.
All right, I think I clean sweep that with
I
Brunson,
cooked.
White, Siakam,
I
and
cooked.
Jokic.
It
Good
was
luck.
too easy. I cooked.
You're not bad. You're not
I
bad.
love my team. I think my team's great.
I mean,
I
yeah,
like my
the
team.
top
I
the
gotta-
top 16 players in the league are all pretty good. But
I got a guy to shut you down, and I have Ant. I think I'm good.
we'll see.
No
Let us
bigs.
know in the comments who had the best team. This is a close one. This is fun.
Yeah. For sure.
All right, awesome. So we started doing some, or restarted doing some start bench cut last week, and have a few clips on that. So let's keep that going. So start bench cut: Anthony Edwards, Donovan Mitchell, and Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. Starting with you, Jesse.
Alrighty, I am starting Anthony Edwards, benching Shea, and cutting Donovan Mitchell. Easy.
Jack.
Yeah, this is definitely a spicy one, but I think I agree with Jesse. I definitely starting Ant, and I think you could debate Shea and Mitchell, but I think I would bench Shea and cut Mitchell.
Zach.
Being chalk would be boring. Let's not be chalk. All right, I'm gonna start Anthony Edwards. I'm gonna bench Donovan Mitchell, and I'm gonna cut Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. But it's very
Wow.
close. It's very close.
All right.
I think this is an easy one. I think it's start Ant and then bench Shea and cut Mitchell. It's playoff time. I know Shea and Mitchell, you could argue, have similar games, but I think that's the order I'm going in. All right, start bench cut: Kyrie Irving, Jamal Murray, Jaylen Brown. Jesse, back to you.
Woo. It's I really want to know what our Lakers fan on the show is going to say for this one. I'm excited for Jack's answer. I'm going to start Kyrie Irving. I'm going to bench Jamal Murray, and I'm going to cut Jaylen Brown. I think Kyrie Irving's been absolutely on fire this postseason. So is Jamal Murray, as he always is, one of the most clutch players in the league. So he's going on the bench, and Jaylen Brown, I have no care for. So this is kind of a no-brainer.
Yeah. Start Kyrie Irving. That's the easy one for sure. The other two is really close for me. I'm not really sure what to do. I think Jaylen Brown is the better player. I really do. But I think with Jamal Murray's playoff performances, it's undeniable at this point. So I think I have to go start Kyrie, bench Murray, cut Jaylen Brown.
Yeah, I could tell the brain rot nearly took over your mind in that one. Staying chalk here, Kyrie starting, Jamal Murray on the bench, Jaylen Brown cut. It's very easy, and I don't know why you had to really toil with yourself there, Jack.
Because I hate Jamal Murray with the burning passion.
Look at the
To be
jersey
fair,
in the
I hate
background.
Jaylen
and
Brown with the
answers
burning
that
passion, so it
question.
makes it even easier. So
Yeah, I think Jaylen Brown's a little unlucky to be in this group because I don't think he had much of a chance, especially when you talk about playoffs. So I'm going to go the same. Kyrie Irving, I'm starting, and Murray, I'm benching, and Jaylen Brown, I'm cutting. All right, start, bench, cut. Jalen Williams, Michael Porter Jr., Derek White.
Oh,
And I think we're talking about J-Dub here, just
Yeah.
to be clear.
Yeah.
Ooh, okay. This is a good one. After the way he played in round one, I feel like there's no way you're not starting Derek White in the situation. The bald-headed assassin looked like if Richard Jefferson got the Space Jam powers and just started balling out on the Miami Heat. That's Derek White. So he had a phenomenal series. Great on defense, great on offense. He's starting. Jalen Williams, I'm benching. He's been great all season. A little under the radar so far in the playoffs, but been a really consistent number 2 option for the Thunder all year long. Budding superstar there. And Michael Porter, I hate to say it, but he's actually had a great playoffs as well. But, I just think that Jalen Williams is a little more of a complete game than Michael Porter, who's a little just kind of a sniper and rebounder. That's kind of all you get from him. I think Jalen Williams does it all. So start Derek White, bench J-Dub, and cut Michael Never Pass the Rock Porter Jr.
yeah.
The show is called Pass the Rock. I can't go with a guy who never passes the rock.
Not to. All right. I'm actually gonna start J-Dub. I love that guy. I think he's a fantastic player. I think he actually has superstar potential. And that's sort of the part of me that's like maybe the Thunder don't have to go all in because I feel like in Shea, Chet, and J-Dub, they could have a big 3 of all-stars right there for the next 15 years, and you don't have to make that big splash move. I think J-Dub is that good. So I'm going to start him. I'm going to bench Derek White. I think he's been, obviously was unreal in the first round, but all around had a fantastic season. Clampy defender. Love that guy. And it sucks that you have to cut MPJ, but just like the possession always ends when the ball touches his hands, he's getting cut here. He's not making my team. So start J-Dub, bench Derek White, cut MPJ.
All right, Zach.
yeah, Jack, I actually fully agree with you here. I'm starting J-Dub as well. He has been under the radar, but he's really been impressive this season. I'm benching Derek White. He's also been really impressive, but I trust both of them with the ball more than MPJ. Never saw a shot he didn't like, and honestly, in the playoffs, that can be a little bit risky. I know he's not always like that, but at the same time, I'm taking the other 2 over him. I'm cutting MPJ here.
Yeah, I'm definitely cutting MPJ as well. I want to lean J-Dub because the dude has just decided in the playoffs to even get a lot more aggressive and be part of what they're doing there. But I got to start with Derek White. It was just too good of a first round. And I am interested to see him do it against, better teams. But I don't know that he's going to have the opportunity this series because I don't even know if Cleveland's any better. So maybe we'll see something in the Eastern Conference Finals. So I'm going to start Derek White, bench Jalen Williams, and cut Michael Porter. Last one, start, bench, cut Evan Mobley, Kristaps Porzingis, and Aaron Gordon. Jesse.
Ooh, this is tough. I'm going to start Evan Mobley. I think just purely for the defensive aspect. I mean, all 3 of these guys, I think Kristaps probably has the best offensive game, maybe Aaron Gordon, but I like Evan Mobley the most defensively out of these 3. So I'm starting Mobley. I'm going to bench Aaron. I'm going to bench Kristaps Porzingis, and I'm going to cut Aaron Gordon because I think Aaron Gordon's great, but if you take him out of the Denver Nuggets system with Nikola Jokic there, I don't know if he's as good. Obviously, Kristaps is on the Celtics, which is also a very good situation. But he's also kind of proven that he's been kind of a pretty consistent what he is of like 18 and 10 kind of guy on, the Mavericks, the Wizards and such. So assuming he's healthy, I'm going to bench Porzingis and cut Aaron Gordon.
Big assumption.
Assuming everybody's healthy. I mean, they all had injuries this year.
All right. Well, the start here is easy for me. It's Evan Mobley. He is one of the 3 best interior defenders in all of basketball. I would probably say Gobert, AD, and him are the top 3. I forgot Wemby.
You're forgetting.
I got to get roasted for that one. But Evan Mobley's fantastic. In that role, his offensive game is inconsistent, but when he's at his best, he's really good on that side of the ball as well. Got to be the start. The bench for me, I think is going to be Aaron Gordon. I love the role that he plays for that Denver team. I think he's honestly, that trade to pick him up for them was what really elevated them to being a championship contender. He's such a key piece to what they do. And I just really appreciate a guy that knows his role like that and does it to such a high level. So I'm going to start Mobley, bench Aaron Gordon, and unfortunately, Mr. Tingus Pingus is getting cut.
All right, well, I'm going to start from the bottom up because I feel like the top 2 is a lot harder than who I'm going to cut. I'm cutting Aaron Gordon, much for the reason that Jesse said. If you take Aaron Gordon out of the Nuggets system, I'm not confident that he plays at the level he is currently. He's playing very well, but he's playing very well for the role that he's been placed in, and I feel like Evan Mobley and Kristaps Porzingis do more generally for their team. Then it becomes like a bit of a debate. Do I value defense or offense more in these type of situations? But at the end of the day, defense wins championships. I'm going to start Evan Mobley and bench Kristaps Porzingis.
Yeah, it's boring, but you all nailed it, and I went last. So I'm starting Evan Mobley, I'm benching Kristaps, and I'm cutting Aaron Gordon. All right. Little NBA trivia. Jesse, is this you?
Yeah, this is me. So this is going to be a fun one. So can you name the 6 players who have scored more than half of their team's points in an NBA playoff game? So kind of a relevant question, but so this is ranking them based on the highest percentage of a team's points they scored in the playoffs. So everybody on this list is more than 50% of their team's points.
Is this all time or this year?
This is all time.
Okay.
And there are some older names on the list, and there are some younger ones too.
Well, I think I know why this list is so relevant, because didn't Donovan Mitchell just do this?
Donovan Mitchell is number 4 with 52% of the Cavaliers' points, with 50 out of 96. So that is number 4.
I'm going to go with Michael Jordan here.
Michael Jordan is number 5. He had a 51.9, 0.7, 0.4. He did this like 3 or 4 times, actually. Quite a handful of times, all right around 51%. His most was he had 55 out of 106 was his highest percentage at 51.9. So surprisingly, the 63-point game is not in there, which is kind of shocking.
Definitely what I was
I think that was like a 130-something point.
Yeah, so surprisingly, that one wasn't in there. But yeah. So Michael Jordan is number 5.
It's what I was going for, but I'm glad that I got it.
Yeah, that's like cheating. Wilt Chamberlain had to have played in the playoffs, right?
He did.
So that's my guess.
It's not Wilt Chamberlain. This is another Wilt-less list. So
wow.
I just figured he had one where he scored a bunch.
You would have thought, because he averaged, probably 40 points a game in the playoffs, and I don't know who else was scoring, but yeah, no Wilt.
All right. Well, last week we talked about the best single game performances in the playoffs, and a name that came up with a really great performance was Elgin Baylor. So I'm going to go with him.
Ooh, not Elgin Baylor, not on the list, but there is a guy on here who is pre-1965.
If we're talking about players pre-1965 who dominated the league, a few names come up, but let's go with the guy with 11 rings, Bill Russell.
Not Bill Russell.
All right. Big scorers, low scoring teams. Give me Kareem.
No Kareem. We've got, so the rest of the players on this list, we've got one guy who's big, and then everybody else is a guard / forward.
All right. How about Kobe?
Mostly guards. Not Kobe, surprisingly.
Wow. Still gonna try for that big. Give me George Mikan.
George Mikan's number 1. He had 60% of his team's points in 1952 with 47 out of 78 points.
Oh
He also had 54% another time, but we're just counting him as number 1 for this list. So he had the third most actually as well, but we're just counting him there.
Laker
So
legend.
George
Amazing
Mikan
how
is up
easy trivia is when you just Google it.
No, Zach guessed George Mikan in a trivia.
I know he
last
did.
week.
I feel like every time that I hear like pre 1970, I'm like, okay, give me George Mikan, Wilt
It's like
Chamberlain.
Baylor, Mikan,
Yeah.
Elvin Hayes.
Yeah, there's like 4 options.
Yeah,
And
so
George
yeah,
Mikan is
Mikan.
one of them. So George Mikan.
All right, so
I
you're
was going to
missing number
guess a
2.
big, but you took the big, and there's no bigs
So
left.
that's the last big. So you're missing number 2, 3, and 6, all of which are guards.
Are any of them still active?
Yeah,
Luca.
no. One of them is still active, and he did it in 2018.
Huh. That one's not coming to me. I'm going to go a little older. I'm going to go Allen Iverson.
Allen Iverson is number 3, and he did it twice, actually. 55 out of 98 points. Good enough for 56%, and 54 out of 97, 55.7%. Zach, I'm disappointed that you didn't guess AI.
That was going to be my guess if Jack didn't guess him right there. That was
All right, so you're missing number 2 at 59.7%. This guy had 46 out of 77. And then you're missing number 6, who had 46 out of 91 at 50.5%.
Trying to think 2018. Trying to think who could have done that.
It fits the timeline of 2018.
Oh,
So,
Jack, if you know, just guess. Just go for it.
Is it LeBron?
no, it's not LeBron, actually.
I didn't think it was LeBron. That's why
No,
I'm
he was
like,
just under 50%.
Oh,
He had 51. They had over 100 in that game.
let me guess Steph Curry.
No.
Mm.
Steph never had that much back then in the playoffs.
What about Donovan Mitchell Jazz years?
No, Mitchell only counts once, and he's already.
Oh,
fourth
we
on
already
this
guessed
list.
him?
He was the first guess. He's who inspired the list.
Oh, right, because he did it last week. My bad.
Yeah.
My bad.
Get the program.
Sorry.
2018.
Could it be
That's what I was-
Anthony Davis?
No, but that's actually not a bad shout. He had 47.
Yeah.
But Drew Holiday also had 41 that same game.
Right.
Could this be Dame Lillard?
No, close though. Warmer,
Warmer.
pretty warm.
Close geographically or same team?
A lot. Similar vibes.
Oh, vibes. I'm not good with vibes.
One man band type of vibes.
2018 point guard Western Conference.
Okay.
Russell Westbrook.
Russell Westbrook, baby, 46 out of 91 points. I'm actually surprised nobody guessed James Harden because he was the MVP that year. But he's
Little
actually not on
rusty.
the list anyway, so it doesn't really matter. All right, last one, number 2, 2003. This guy had 46 out of 77 points. He's a shooting guard.
Okay. Let me guess Vince Carter.
Warm. Actually, burning hot.
Oh, well,
Yeah, it's got to be T-Mac, right?
Tracy McGrady, baby. Orlando Magic. Well
Nice.
done.
Orlando Magic.
Orlando Magic. Yeah. All right. So that's the end of that one. That was fun. So, now it's me again, but we're going to go on to NFL now. So this is going to be fun. So let me pull that up. All right. We're going to do a little trivia game. Let's see. So it's called, can you name, let's see. Can you name the players with the most receiving yards in the last 10 years in the NFL? So there are 16 players up here. The logos represent what conference they played in, and the bigger the logo means the more time. The ones that are even are pretty even split of where these yards came from. Any questions?
Great. I just want to thank our graphics department for
That
this.
was all me, so you can thank me.
That's
for
who
that one.
that's who I meant by the graphics department.
All right. Thank
Appreciate
you.
you.
Thank you, graphics department. What order should we
All
guess
right.
in?
Hold on. Do you want me to like mark things as they go?
Yeah, that would be nice.
Yeah, it would help a little.
Oh,
yeah.
I thought you were just gonna press it and it would flip and be that player's face, like Vanna White.
Oh no, it's not. It's not going to do that. It's not gonna do all of
Graphics
that,
department shout out has
unfortunately.
been rescinded.
Exactly. Back
Sorry,
to square
guys.
one, graphics department.
Ugh,
Hold on. Here. All right. I'll mark it up. Don't worry. All right.
okay.
There you go.
What about? I'll start us off. What about Tyreek Hill?
Hold on. Tyreek Hill is number 6. That is correct. He is the 10,000 yards right there. That is Tyreek Hill.
All right.
Mark it off.
Maybe you should like draw like a little player on each one. I have a guess. I'm gonna go Antonio Brown.
Tyreek. There you go.
All right.
All right. What was your
Yeah,
guess?
I'm going with Antonio Brown.
Antonio Brown is correct. He is 8,730 yards right here. And I was going to add a little NFC thing, but he barely had any yards in the Buccaneers days, so it doesn't really count.
Should make it like really tiny.
All right, that is Antonio Brown.
All right. You know what? He gets 1,000 yards every year. Let me get Mike Evans.
Mike Evans is number 1 with 11,000 and almost 700 yards. That is Mike Evans.
What about Hopkins?
DeAndre Hopkins is number 2 with 11,553 yards on this list. Maybe technically there should have been a Cardinal there, but who cares? It was one season out of his like however many that he got yardage there.
Yeah.
So yeah, number 2.
I'm gonna guess Des Bryant.
No, Des Bryant not on the list.
It's a weird guess. Let me get Devontae Adams.
Devontae Adams, number 5, 10,781.
That was my next guess.
You're a weirdo, Jack. Don't call me weird.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
What
So
about
number 3 and 4 still up for grabs.
What about Big Trav?
Big Trav, number 3, 11,328.
All right.
Why am I struggling so hard with this? Let's be a homer. Give me Deshaun Jackson.
You're thinking a little too old there. Deshaun Jackson, this is since 2014, right? So
Ugh.
This
Yeah,
dude is tripping.
I'm off, man. I'm off today.
Let me
You got
get
a couple guesses in the chat.
there is a different Eagle, but
How about did he play enough games? Yeah, I'm just gonna do it. Keenan Allen.
Keenan Allen is on the list. He had 9,484, good enough for number 9.
I like the other guest in the chat, Julio Jones.
Julio Jones is number 4 with 10,966. That is Julio. That was the other Eagle I was talking about. Someone mute their
Yeah,
Discord.
great. Yeah, I, as soon as you said, I was like, oh god, like I should know that. Why can I not remember any receivers from the years 2014 onwards? It is
So you got the top 6 so far. 9,995. You got a guy split time in the NFC and AFC pretty evenly the last 6-7 years probably. And then the guy right below him, same thing. 2 guys, both conferences,
both
both still balling.
still balling. I was trying to think a little bit lower, thinking back, like, but no, he didn't play long enough. God, why? I seriously can't think of anyone. That's disgusting. Tyler Lockett.
Tyler Lockett is on the list with 7,994.
There we go.
That is
There we
Tyler
go.
Lockett. Crazy pull from Zach, number 12.
Might not hit all the time, but when I do hit,
All right, let me get some Stephon Diggs action.
Stephon Diggs is the 9,995 right there, number 7. Vikings and Bills, and now Texans.
What about Amari Cooper?
Amari Cooper is the guy right after him, 9,486. Coop. Cowboys, Raiders, and Browns.
So what do we have? Okay.
So you got the last four, and then number 10 as well.
Mhm.
I'm gonna go with Brandon Cooks.
Brandon Cooks is on the list. He is 9,273. Number 10, Brandon Cooks.
Nice.
Shout out, Brandon.
Solid.
Somebody put some respect on Brandon Cooks because he's been on a few lists lately, and the fact that he's up there with this
that's why I
company.
thought of him because he was on a list like with like one of our last recordings, I think. So
Yeah.
Well, and he did it with like 4 or 5 teams.
He's the Saints, Patriots, Rams, Texans, and I think the Cowboys. He's all had 1,000 or close to 1,000.
Wow.
So shout out, Brandon, man.
All
All right,
right.
so that's the top 10 all wiped off. Top 12, sorry, all wiped off. So the last four.
How about AJ Green?
Not AJ Green. He had 6,600, so he's about 1,000 off.
Yeah.
it's a great guess, though.
What about Odell?
Odell is on the list at 7,932. Number 13, OBJ.
There goes my next guess. Oh no, never mind. I'm stupid.
I
Confirmed.
might be stupid, but I'm gonna go on a limb. I'm gonna say Chris Godwin.
Not Chris Godwin. He had 6,700, so just about 1,000 off the list.
Yeah.
Not bad. He's like 6 spots off the list.
For some reason, you taking the last one with 2 logos made me think I couldn't take a guy on 2 teams, but I realized both of his teams are in the NFC, so I don't know what I'm doing. Let me get DJ Moore.
Not DJ Moore. He had 6,500, about 1,000, 1,200 off the list. So you got 2 guys who played strictly in the AFC, and 1 guy who played strictly in the NFC.
Thielen?
Adam Thielen is number 16 with 7,700 yards on the Panthers and the Vikings.
Wow.
Last
It
guy on the
actually
list.
surprises me it's not more now that I'm thinking about it.
Well, he's only been around since like 2018, so you're missing a lot of years there for DJ Moore.
Okay.
Well,
Yeah.
that makes it more impressive, honestly.
Yeah,
Right.
DJ Moore is not that far off, but yeah.
I'm gonna go with someone that I remember used to be a total dog. Give me T.Y. Hilton.
T.Y. Hilton, 78-68 on the list for number 15. So your last one with 2 more yards than T.Y. Hilton.
Didn't
And-
T.Y. Hilton play for the Cowboys?
What would it be? Yeah,
It
for
was
like
this
3
was
games.
like all on the Colts, though. Like all of
Oh,
those yards, basically.
Okay.
Just more so where their yards came from, not the career spent. But yeah.
Okay.
Wow.
All right. So last
another
one
middle
was
school
a
NFC
strictly
player.
AFC guy. Yeah.
Huh.
Strictly AFC.
May have been a teammate with somebody else on this board. More specifically,
AFC teammate.
he was-
AFC teammate.
No, he was a teammate with somebody in his row, actually.
Huh. I feel like it could be like a OBJ
Is it?
teammate, but like
Yeah, is it
oh,
is it Jarvis Landry?
It is Jarvis Landry, 78-70 for good old Jarvis.
Wow.
Coming
that
in
came to me at
number
the exact
14.
same time.
It's actually pretty amazing that OBJ and Jarvis are next to each other by a difference of 50 yards in the last 10 years. I think that's
that is
pretty
pretty
cool.
People forget about how good Jarvis was in Miami.
Yeah. So a lot of that came from Miami and then Cleveland, and then I don't know where he's at now.
He's nowhere. He was a Saint 2 years ago and didn't play last year.
Yeah. So anyway, Jarvis Landry. I would put some respect on Jarvis Landry, you know. So anyway, shout out to him.
I always thought Jarvis was going to be the better pro.
Yeah.
Just
Well,
because
he was like after OBJ kind of tapered off a bit, like after the rookie seasons, and then kind of balanced back towards OBJ. But a couple guys narrowly off the list: Robert Woods, Emmanuel Sanders, Cooper Kupp, Allen Robinson, Zach Ertz were the 5 guys next.
Hmm.
Bobby
Anyway,
Trees.
that was fun. Let's go over to Zach now for probably the last thing of the day. We can save
let's
5 seconds.
take it back to 2014. Let's go back a decade ago. Give me every quarterback in 2014 to throw for over 4,000 yards. There are 11 quarterbacks. So you have 11 quarterbacks to go through. I had the list pulled up. So go ahead.
Aaron Rodgers.
Aaron Rodgers is number 7 on this list with 4,381 yards.
All right. Got to go with my dude, Big Ben.
Big Ben comes in at number 2 on this list. Actually, he's tied for first on this list with 4,952 yards.
Wow. So
So
no
tied for
5,000 yard
first.
guy that year.
There are no 5,000-yard guys. It is just above 4,000.
All right, Brian, you got to guess?
Drew Brees.
And that is who Ben Roethlisberger is tied with for number 1.
Nice. All right. Give me some TB12 action, Mr. Brady, the GOAT.
Tom Brady, of course, with 4,109 yards, comes in at number
Calm.
10 on this list.
Well,
Calm Tom season. Calm little Tom season.
All right. How about Phillip Rivers?
Phillip Rivers comes in at number 8 on this list.
Oh,
I
I
got a
just
good
had a
one.
guess and then I forgot it.
Still some,
Ooh.
it's pretty much all notable names except for number 11, who's a little less well known.
Peyton Manning.
Peyton Manning, number 4 on this list.
Yeah. Let's go good old Matt Stafford.
Matt Stafford, number 9 on this list.
Number 9 on the field, too.
Correct.
Yeah, that was my next guess. I gotta rethink for a sec.
Don't worry, I'll give you a little hint here. 2 of the
Oh,
quarterbacks on the list remaining had losing records in this
Ooh.
season. The last guy on this list went 500, and the top guy left on the list had an 11-5 record.
Oh, I know that one.
How about Russell Wilson?
Russell Wilson misses the cut.
Oh,
He is 15th on this list.
Wow.
wow. I was thinking 100% because that was the year that they made the Super Bowl.
No, he only had 3,475 yards.
Scrub.
Yeah, they only needed to score 10 points a game and they'd still win.
Yeah, it was all running, too. Marshawn Lynch.
It was all running. And defense.
I hate that I'm guessing this, but Matt Ryan.
Matt Ryan with a 6-10 record comes in at number 5 on this list.
Yeah, that makes Brian feel a little better.
Makes me
Okay.
feel great. It's one of his best seasons.
This is coming off of this. No, 2 years removed from a Super Bowl. Joe Flacco.
Joe Flacco just misses this
Oh.
list. He's number 12, and he had 3,986 yards in this
Damn.
season.
One more completion for first down.
Pretty much one more completion would have got him on this list, but he had a better record than number 11. He was 10-6 with the Ravens this year in 2014.
All right. I've got 2 ideas and I don't love either of them. So this is interesting. But I'm just going to go with Tony Romo.
Tony Romo with 3,705 yards. He's number 14 on this list. So he's
I'll
not
just
making-
go with
No.
I'll go with the other Manning, Eli Manning.
There you go. Gotta think a little simple with these sometimes. Eli Manning at number 6 on this list.
Oh, easy. Andrew Luck. Sure.
Andrew Luck is number 3 on this list. Now all we have left is the 11th and final player. He is
Okay.
still active in the NFL, although he is not a starting quarterback anymore.
Whoa.
Oh, I got it. If you don't have it,
Go for it.
Andy Dalton.
It is not Andy Dalton. Andy Dalton is below Russell Wilson.
I thought that was a snipe.
Could it be like Ryan Tannehill?
Ryan Tannehill with 4,045 yards makes the cut at number 11. You know, it's
Oh.
funny. So you guys got 1 through 12 and 14 through 16. Do you have any guesses as to who was the 13th highest passer in 2014?
Oh, great.
3,812 yards.
Jameis wasn't drafted yet, right?
Yeah, he was.
Was it
He's
Jameis?
not,
Yeah, he
It's
was
not-
like 12.
it is not
2011.
It was 2013.
It was 2013, I think.
Oh, okay.
Alex
Derek
Smith?
Carr. Was it Derek
It is
Carr?
Not Derek Carr.
Alex Smith.
It is not Alex Smith.
Jay Cutler.
It is Jay Cutler.
I know that
Smoking
someone got
Jay,
close.
Jay
but-
Cutler was the 13th highest passer in the league in 2014.
My next guess was going to be Kaepernick, so that would have been
Mine too. Yeah, I was
And,
thinking
and
Kaepernick.
honestly, what's crazy? So apparently, Cutler played 15 games. If he played that 16th game, he very well could have had a 4,000-yard passing season.
Damn,
Wow.
tough. All right. I think that's all for today. Brian's got a meeting in 3 minutes, right? We got to wrap up for today.
I know. It's still got to work.
Annoying how that works.
Look, enjoy the games tonight. Conference semifinals, sometimes the best time of the year. So enjoy it. And with that, Zach, see ya.